Alright, Fred the Pirate here, and this is a review for chapter 620 of the manga series Naruto by Masashi Kishimoto. Alright, so overall, this was a really good chapter. A lot of, not too bad, got some funny moments, but we also got a little bit of characterization about Orochimaru, which kind of put what he did in perspective and made it more than just, he was being evil to be evil. I mean, it doesn't change the fact that he is creepy and evil, but it explains it a little better. Which is interesting because I think for the most part, I wouldn't imagine there being a great need to explain why Orochimaru's the way he is, because I think most people were just okay with the explanation that he was kind of just out for power's sake, which that was kind of a good enough explanation for him as a villain, but it was surprisingly nice to get this information. It was obviously nice to get some more context on Hashirama and kind of further explore him as a character, and obviously the parallels between he and Naruto. And it's definitely going to be interesting to get the flashback where we find out where all the animosity between the Senju and the Uchiha started. And obviously we're going to get the flashback with Kurama and how he becomes involved with the village. So that'll be interesting as far as what's going to happen. Imagine next chapter. It'll be interesting further down in the story to see what actually happens ultimately, when Hashirama finishes the story and Sasuke decides what he's going to do. But honestly, I imagine at this point he's probably just going to choose to be a good guy. It'll probably be a lot more interesting to see what they do, what happens with the Hokages as far as later in the story, like what type of role they'll play. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, particularly with Minato and Haruzen, because honestly, I'm not sure what role they could play besides looking badass for a couple chapters on the battlefield. But it's like really, to me, like there's already like not a lot's happening with them. Like so far, we're focusing more on Hashirama and Tobirama, which makes sense. So it kind of just seems like Haruzen and Minato, as cool as they are kind of just, I think that they've fulfilled their role in the story pretty much, and I don't know how wise of a move it was to resurrect them, because obviously in the past, Kishimoto earlier in the Fourth Ninja War, like he revived a whole bunch of zombie shinobi using the Edo Tensei, and obviously, as we all know, not a lot really came of that. And I'm kind of concerned that this is happening with Haruzen and Minato, that not a lot is going to come to them being revived, because like I mentioned, at least in my opinion, it seems like they really fulfilled a lot of their roles in the story, and they really don't have roles in the story anymore. I mean, Haruzen was the third Hokage, and he was the awesome grandfather figure. His death, served to give Naruto his first experiences with losses and helping him to grow and mature. And obviously with Minato, I think a lot of the questions with Minato, involving his relationship with Naruto and the relationship with the Kyuubi being sealed into him and the attack, I think those were pretty much definitely almost all answered by the time the Kushina arc ended. So I really think we've gotten everything out of those characters that could be relevant and interesting to the story. And I mean, and honestly, I think the only reason why they could be there is just to show off their powers. But at the same time, how are you going to show off your powers when you're standing right next to Hashirama, who's literally described as being the god of the Shinobi War. I mean, I know, like, how are they supposed to compete against Tobirama and Hashirama when it comes to showing off powers? Because I think it's obviously kind of implied that Hashirama and Tobirama are a little bit more powerful than Haruzen and Minato are, as cool characters as they are. So I'm not sure how well that's going to work out. I'm kind of concerned that they're going to be wasted as characters and that that they really don't have a role to play and that they're just going to sit there being wallflowers. And that's really unfortunate because they are really nice characters. As far as other stuff, I imagine in the battlefield we're probably still having to deal with Naruto and Obito having the battle of the Talk no Jutsu that we left them in. So I think it'll be interesting. Although it will be interesting to see how the parts that the other shinobi play and if Naruto's gonna have some cool new type of jutsu, but otherwise I don't really think anything too interesting is happening on that front that we're not necessarily prepared for. So with that, this has been a review of Naruto chapter 620. And I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Comment, rate, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys again next time.